Hi, everyone. Once again, hi. My name is Anastasia. I'm a co-host of Culture Mapping, and here is Konstantin.
Yeah, hi everyone.
We do this little thing together for a little bit more than a year, and probably it makes sense to tell you maybe a couple of things about culture mapping and what actually we do here. So we came together to start a podcast where we talk to people who moved to the UAE from various parts of the globe just to find out what changed for them after they made this move, how their approach to things changed, how their approach to work changed, and what remained unchanged. Actually, this is how I see it, how various cultures that move around the globe actually interact, and Dubai is really a perfect place to have this kind of conversation.
Yeah, guys, thanks for coming. I won't take a lot of your time, so I want to move to our guest today. And it's Anna Pumpyanskaya and Alisa Bagdonaite. They are co-founders of this amazing place where we're hosting this event. It's Dome Art Project. And I really want to thank you guys for hosting us here and for having us here and having this little experiment. And honestly, the topic of today's discussion is the following. I mean, we all know that Dubai is a very driven city, and we're not talking about what Dubai is, but how we find each other here, how we have transformed, how we have changed, and we'll find out how art actually helps us to transform with the Dubai environment. And our today's guest will help us to do that. So I want to start with a really simple question. Can you tell our guests and our viewers who you are? How have you appeared to be in Dubai? Anna?
My name is Anna Pumpyanskaya. I am art lover, art collectioner, and I moved to Dubai from Switzerland, where I lived for quite a long time, and it's been my 4th year in Dubai, and I'm very happy to find myself here.
My name is Alisa Bagdonaite. I'm a curator, an art manager, and a mom. And I came to Dubai also 3.5 years ago. And my little one was born here, and he's 1 year old today.
Yay, congrats.
His first anniversary, yes.
Please, can you tell us, how have you changed after moving to Dubai?
Well, for me, transition was not easy. When I came here, I was already an established specialist in contemporary art as curator and as placemaker. And I was very confident where I was in Russia. And when I came here, following my husband's work possibilities and opportunities, I asked myself whether I could continue my professional growth here, whether I could actually find myself here. And yet it worked out for me. I'm not only more confident, I've met Anna, and I think we made each other stronger, and we made this place for people like us who also came here or will come here, and they would find a place where different communities will be and are represented.
And me also, I was deeply involved in art before moving here. But even though when I moved to Dubai, I was a bit lost in the beginning, and but I found out that the art world of Dubai is quite open, and it is easy to be accepted here. So it's as well very dynamic, as you said, and now I feel much more confident. So I think it changed a little bit myself as well.
What was the biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge, I think, just to accept to move.
Okay.
Because as soon as I arrived, I found Dubai to be an easy place to settle, because I have something to compare with, because I moved to Switzerland years ago, and Dubai was very easy. I am also a mom of 3. And with the family, I found that it was just fantastic. My kids straight away, they were well accepted in school. Adaptation went smoothly. They found friends, they felt better, and me as well, of course, I started to feel better. And then I found myself also friends. Here, I found a lot of similar-minded people. I found Alisa. And it was extremely fast that our project started to develop. And it was very, from one side, shocking, but at the same time, all this dynamic and pace of Dubai is just, you get used to it and you feel more confident, safe, better. And it's kind of, you feel yourself, better here.
You also said that it was relatively easy to be accepted in the, let's say, art community or art industry. And from my experience from various countries, from various things that I hear from different people, usually the art industry is pretty snobbish one, and it's not the one that easily accepts people, especially newcomers. Why do you think it's easier here than
I
somewhere
think
else?
here what we have is such a mixture of exactly all these nationalities, people moving, and everything is so fast, and they just adapt easier. People here, they accept, they are open, they adapt easier, while in Europe they already have this own history of the place that influences people, and you have to get used to it. And
I also think it is related with the trade. It is, in my experience, cities and places that have trade as in the core of their economics and history, they are more open to newcomers. They want to make business together, they want to exchange, they want to know about you. And the cities that are more about industry, we produce things, they're less flexible, they're less tolerant. It just the flow of migration is naturally slower, so people are not used to newcomers. So yes, I think the heart of Dubai is much more Dubai is more open-minded than many other cities that position themselves as leaders in arts and.
But does it mean that, for example, you as a Russian come in here, that you also get your cultural or national identity a little bit?
Also to answer your previous question of what was the first struggle, for me it was the first exhibition. When I haven't met Anna yet, it was the first show of the artist pool I used to work with back in Russia and internationally, but I knew that they didn't have any connection here, and me neither. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to open the show. Who will come to see me? What we have in common? I am so alone, and I am so afraid to do that. But yet, there was a possibility, and I was offered a discount, and I was running to do that. And then my opening, and I don't know, maybe 500 people showed up. 500 people showed up. And there were people I didn't know, and they came and they shook my hand and they said, "This is amazing, and we're so happy to see." And you came, this is how we met, and I felt so welcome, so embraced. And even though there were not just people from Russian-speaking communities, there were Emirati, there were Iranian, there were Lebanese, there were art professionals who said, "Oh, this is great." There were people who I met at the first show, and now they curate something and say, "We want to see your artist at Art Dubai." And this is all linked. They happen very fast. And now I tell to everybody, make the first step. Don't be afraid. It's worth it.
So the community here is quite welcoming, and they're interested in art, even from different cultural backgrounds.
I think nobody is naturally interested in art. Everybody is interested in stories. Everybody is interested in nice experience. Everybody is interested to know something new about others, but about oneself. And I think that also art is a safe space. You won't be hurt, and you will be heard. you will be seen and you could see something new. And I think it's a very beautiful ritual to take yourself out there and know something you didn't know before, see something you haven't seen before. This is what art is offering us. And this is also for many people who just moved here, who left something behind and who struggle to meet others. Art is a beautiful territory to make this meeting and also maybe give a dream or consolation. Art is so big and it can offer us many things, but not like art itself, but something that in it.
But I maybe disagree a bit because I've heard a different point of view regarding art. Because I know people for whom it's like, it's a challenge to go somewhere and see art because they say, I come to a museum or a gallery or whatever, I just don't understand. And I don't know how to understand. So do you have any advice for these people?
Come to Dom. No, this is actually what we want to propose to people is we will offer you the explanation, kind of. We will offer you something that will help you to feel more like safe in this zone. You will understand it, you will be able to read it and to feel it as well. So I also wanted to add that I think in Dubai also with all the people speaking different languages, art is also a kind of universal language. What I mean is it helps people to create connections without words. Why? Because a lot of, quite often we see the same thing, but we see it differently. And we have, because we see it through the layers of memory, culture, religion, history, it's our old traditions, and so on. So art actually is doing a very rare thing here. The art lets you have different perceptions and still exist. And this is very unique way of finding the solution to create bridges between cultures. So that's why I think if Dubai is such an emergent place with a dynamic development, offers the possibility to hear the voices of emergent art, I think this is also the place where it will be possible to use art as this universal language.
Can you give maybe any practical advice, for example, maybe even to people in this room, if there is a hesitation to start to interact with art, like how to start if you've never done it? Here we can talk about our future ideas for the programs we will offer to the public. Thank you, by the way, for this opportunity, because it's the first time we will properly present it. We have in mind the idea of the creation of the collector circle here in Dom that will offer lectures and classes on different aspects that are very important for the young collectioner or already established collectioner. Actually, all the practical questions that raise around, not just about what to see, what do you see, but about where to see it, how to evaluate, how to store it, how to insure it, how to transport it, how to leave it as a succession, all the art, for example, law questions around, all the practical questions that can arise when you talk about collectioning. And also, of course, at the same time, we will try to basically give the information about different artists, art history, and the movements, and everything that it can be useful for people who would like to start collectioning.
And I would just advise not to be afraid. Just come and see it, and we will provide mediators with artists, with curators, artist talk, and what is important to see that yes, maybe it's purist and so beautiful, and it looks unachievable, but behind it are people and their research and their hard work, and it's interesting to know about. And as soon as you start asking questions, there are answers.
Okay, talking about actually collecting art, are there like any different behaviors among collectors and different cultural backgrounds? Like, for example, here in Europe, I don't know, in Asia, from your experience, or it's like a universal thing?
For me, it's a bit difficult to say because here I was more presented as a collectioner. So I think it would be rather the question to Alisa, because she had the experience of selling artworks to collectioners here.
Well, also to me, it has a human scale first, because a collector is a personality with his or her interests and turn-ons, maybe. Some are collecting national or regional art. Some want to travel the world and use art as a reason to be everywhere. Other people try to portray themselves or the group they represent. Third are looking for extremely rare things. It depends on how you want to spend time. What do you want to surround yourself with? What do you find is valuable? Every collector has a goal, and sometimes the collections, they show a path to others. We know success stories when generation of artists just appeared on the scene because of a couple of devoted collectors. Sometimes we know, like famously, Berlusconi's collection, right? That was so ugly they decided to destroy it. They didn't want to keep it because storage was more expensive than any possibility to resell. Was it a mistake? No, because he had good time shopping. And I mean, there is no or right or wrong way here. You just start doing it. It's like any human activity, you just do it, and it can bring you pleasure, and it can bring you joy. It can bring you new information, new knowledge, new friends, new circles, or not.
So it just comes down more to taste than like a cultural background.
Or strategy. It also depends on personality. Some take it very serious. Some put the financial goals in the head of the. But for me, of course, the collecting is about loving art and loving artists, and actually stay attuned to what I think future of art will be.
Okay. Circling back. You said that people love stories. So I think that it would be fair to ask, what is the story behind Dom?
The name Dom came also quite naturally. I don't know, very fast over minds. The Dom means home, and we were thinking about the home of book, home of science, that exists in almost every village and city in Russia. And it's always called Dom. By the way, in French, Maison du quartier, it's more or less the same meaning. They have a kind of place where in every small city, people can gather together to read together, discuss what they have read, see a kind of theatrical, concert, something cultural. So it's always connected to culture. So for us, the name came quite naturally. And by the way, in Arabic, just by chance, it also has a meaning, a beautiful meaning. It means always. This is why the idea of our first exhibitions is concentrated around this subject of time. And the concept didn't come straight away, right? So it took some time, because we met with Alisa not long ago. So it was something that we had to elaborate together, because we had different expectations, different ideas, a bit similar background, but still. And but when it came all together, I think at the end it becomes very clear to us that this is something we should do. So the idea was to create an institution, a private institution, actually to present this idea, this concept in Dubai, because it doesn't exist here. And the idea of a private institution that gives the possibility to provide the whole circle of creative circle from the inception of artistic idea to its realization, and to let people be able to be a part of it, so to witness it. This is why we decided to have artist studios, also because Alisa has a lot of expertise in this area. Artist studios, because we really believe that everything starts with in the artist studio. Then we have exhibitions, of course, for the artists. We have a bookshop that can help us to give more information, more inspiration for the ideas as well, and to provide people with an opportunity to get to know more about art. So here we talk about our lecture space. So for us, this concept that includes different activities that can let people deal with art on their own pace, on their own personal level. It seems to us more unique and interesting than just going and buying a piece and putting it on the wall in your room.
Yeah, I had a question actually when you were talking about art collecting, that for some people it's a matter of taste, for some people it's a matter of strategy. Have you seen any interesting pattern of art collecting here in Dubai? Like, what are people interested in?
Oh, yes, I have. But actually, the most exciting meeting with a collector, unfortunately, for art, was not a collector of art. It was a collector of fossils. And this is a proof that when we collect, it's because we want to bring things closer. And what's a fossil? Fossil is an animal that used to be there hundreds of thousands years ago. It doesn't exist anymore. And the fossil is a proof that there was something that long ago. It actually shows human beings so small on this largest scale of time. So what I liked about this meeting is I had a proof that collecting starts with a question. Where am I and who am I? And collecting of fossils, of art objects, of photography, of stamps, whatever it is helping us to find answers on eternal questions humanity keeps asking itself for centuries. So yes, I think collecting is very human, and the history of museums, as we know, starts not from Guggenheim and not from MoMA. It starts from Kunstkammer, from the museum that had a collection of art objects, of animals, of maps, of whatever people found curious. They couldn't travel, and some people in the middle of Europe didn't know for sure that the sea existed. So they wanted to keep a shell, to have a proof of the sea that they could only discover by the stories, narration of others. And now we are very, very spoiled. We have a smartphone, and we have all those pictures in it. But when we're looking at the Renaissance painting, we need to understand that these people didn't have smartphone. Their visual understanding of the world was different. Their geographical understanding of the world was different. And collecting made it possible, to assemble this puzzle in something whole. And I think this is the natural impulse of collecting that is still alive today. We want to have something that we don't have in our everyday life. We want to have some inspiration, some idea that we cannot grasp yet. And I hear a lot of stories of collectors that say, I saw it, and it touched me, and I liked it, and it's lovely in my bedroom, and I bought it. But I also have a huge respect for the stories. I saw it, and it touched me, and I didn't understand what it is. And I bought it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm
To find
trying
out.
to get there. This is what drives me, and I think there is no right way. You know, there's absolutely no right way. Everybody has to find his or hers, their way to look at it.
So what do people not have in their lives here? What are they looking for? Like,
What are you looking for, Anastasia?
wow, I look for a lot of things. But general for the people, really. Because you see a lot of them. You see like someone is collecting fossils and so on. Is there like some kind of an average, something
I
that
think
you notice or a
everyone is
pattern?
looking for something different. This is actually the advantage, because all these people, they have very different idea and understanding of what they need. And this is also the opportunity to provide them and propose different things. And this is how we can make it richer, the art world here.
Yeah, the spectrum is very rich. Sometimes it's for money, sometimes it's for vanity, sometimes for meeting new people, sometimes showing I have that. Sometimes it's just to find peace and be calm.
Yeah, that would be my thing.
Oh, really? Yes. Well,
You see?
Yeah, you guessed something.
and I think this spectrum is the beauty of it, that you don't have to pick one.
Absolutely.
Do you believe that these stories coming from different parts of the world, they actually shape the cultural core of Dubai, or not?
Is there one?
Is there one?
Yeah, I think I would say yes for the question if there one, because this is what I feel. Because I also have my cultural background, and when you arrive here, you have your own history, you have your roots, but somehow there is also something moving. The cultural core here is not stable for sure, so it's developing fast, and it's also maybe its thing is that is moving. And people are coming, they're bringing something, and if there is a curiosity and the idea of creating something, it will stay, even if these people will go. So I think, yes, there is. And for me, different cultures actually enrich this common background that is, a common cultural background that is formed here. And I think it's just a good thing about it.
And what is common? Like there are different cultures, but you still call the cultural core like a common cultural core. So what are things we all have in common?
We for sure have openness, tolerance, adaptability. Something that actually you feel here, because you feel it straight away. As I say, when I arrived, I felt it from the beginning, and this was something different about Dubai. It concerns cultural core as well that is formed. It is like this here, and it's a good side of it.
We felt welcome, and that made a change compared to many other places on the globe. So if it would be one word, I would say welcoming.
How can institution like DOM enhance and enrich the Dubai community?
We don't know.
Yes.
And I think this is the best answer we can give, because there is no such thing as institution, monolith, and knowing answers. I think it could be possible maybe 100 years ago, but right now everything is changing so fast. So the institution that can contribute is the institution that can stay in the dialogue, that can listen, not just talk, that can be ready to hear the voices, and make quick choices which would be most beneficial for different communities to hear and to welcome in the spaces, and to which voices we could provide support. I think it is very natural for Dubai that art scene is growing so fast, so rapid, and fast growth is not always very sustainable. So we need to find the right pace, and we need to be very careful as well. But at the same time, what can be beneficial, and it can never hurt anybody, is creating more art and culture. This is definitely a good thing to do. Question is whether it will be relevant, and this is not for us to judge. But what is important to know is, like, when we looked at any artwork in any museum, even the very old one, I tell myself it used to be contemporary. Sometime, many years ago, it was the most contemporary artwork. So we don't know what we create, whether it will ever be Mona Lisa of the future. But what we can do is we can try to contribute, and then we will see what comes out of it.
We aim to focus on community events and activities anyway, so the idea is to stay in touch with the community for sure, yes.
And to hear what's relevant for them.
Yes, as well, yes. And we only can say with time, we need time.
I have another question, more like not more about identity, less about art, because like this, well, I'm always dragging you into this direction. So in this pot of various cultures that we have here, do you girls feel, or maybe afraid, because I am afraid that I will lose myself, that I will lose, I don't know, my language, my certain identity, and so on and so forth, like we discussed just yesterday. Do you have this fear that you are losing something, or that you will change into becoming a person you don't want to become?
I personally, from my experience, because I left my country of origin very long time ago, and I spent a lot of time living abroad. So I already experienced it. But from what I remember, I always wanted, from still I was young, to travel and to see the world, and to see it and to feel it in real. So to live there, not just to travel and visit, because it's something completely different. But at the same time, when I experienced it myself, I can say that it's actually the opposite. It's not about losing yourself. It's about finding yourself. Because when you're in a different, completely different, like living in a different culture, you're dealing with different traditions, different people, languages as well, you kind of try to see what really belongs to you in yourself, and what is more about some habits that you just inherited and you just don't understand where it comes from. So you basically start to feel yourself. And I think it's more, again, about enriching your cultural background and cultural core.
I would agree to that. Well, on one hand, Dubai is so big, it's getting even bigger, and it's so crowded, and for some people it's probably easy to lose oneself, you know. I understand the anxiety, but on the other hand, it's offering so many opportunities, and it's kind of is able to amplify who you are and who you want to be. So it's a good part of it.
What are the things that you want to preserve in yourself?
It's not about myself. It's
In your, let's say, cultural community, let's call it like this.
oh well, I feel responsible here, so I don't feel pressure that I'm gonna miss something. When I feel like I'm missing something, especially like in what we would say cultural offer on the scene, I say, well, we have to do it. And this is how we met, and this is how we started Dawn with Anna, and we're trying to fill that gap. And we hope that we will find more people interested in joining us doing so.
I also, for example, always still feel very connected to my country of origin, to my origins. So this is a kind of code that I transmit as well to people. And through this code, I talk. And so, of course, I keep it with me all the time. And I don't think I want to lose it. So this is for sure I want to preserve.
Don't you feel that Dubai actually makes you a bit simplify yourself to fit in or not?
I think simplifying here it's the question of choice.
Okay.
I mean, it's for you to decide whether you want to see Dubai as very artificial, as everyone is saying, or you want to go a bit deeper. So here with our project, for example, with Alisa, this was something for sure in common, is that we wanted to present and to show the depth of the art. We wanted to go deeper. So it's not about simplifying for sure here, but it's for sure the choice. And some people can definitely choose this way.
Yes, I think it's a matter of attention. And nobody is paying attention in a fast-paced world. But we're trying to give some time to know the place. And actually, it started also with the community travels. We started visiting Al Circle, following artists, Sharjah Biennale, all the fairs of the region. And we got united around the idea we want to know more, we want to go deep, because of course what people hear first about Dubai, this is very superficial information. It has nothing to do with the complexity of the society, with its core culture and with its young but interesting history. So this is actually what art institutions also do. There is nothing that is not interesting. For example, now one of the residents of our space is Shamin Sharum, originally from Malaysia but based in Dubai, and he is making his research on Alcoas, rapidly changing. I think maybe in a few years we will not see Alcoas as it is now, and that's the art project that is actually able to pay our attention to it and give us artistic or maybe sociological and anthropological focus on something that is disappearing on our eyes. And rapid change of the city can be hurtful for some people. Nobody likes a change. Everybody naturally likes things as it is. So it is important to stay for a minute and listen to each other and tell the story. And probably this is also something that we would offer in a situation of white cube and neutral conversation, but it just can be a page turned tomorrow, or it can be a page of reflection. It can be something that can turn into a meaningful research on where we are, and we will see what it will be, but we will remain open to possibilities.
You know, I felt after hearing what you've said, it feels like we have a responsibility now to document and to reflect where we are now at this certain point, because Dubai is developing so rapidly that maybe tomorrow it would be different, and now we would have these documents like how we live right now. Yeah, you know, that's an interesting point. I've never thought actually about that we're in this unique position with a city that is actually finding itself right now, because I mean all over the world the cities have huge history and we still need to deal with it, and now we are creating this history for Dubai.
And you know what? There was an art project of group of artists called Yili Kuka, and we made it in southern Russia, where Greek colonies used to be. So now it's territory of Russia, but in 5th century before Christ, there were ancient Greeks. And of course, when you're digging after them, when archaeologists are like taking, I don't know, some ceramics or something, it actually a trash can. It's something that people didn't keep. They threw it away, and we found it, and we see, oh wow, there were ancient Greeks here. So what the artists did is they, you know how archaeologists work? They make nets and they like divide. They create a square to know which piece was found in which square exactly. So they pulled the strings, they created those square, and they threw some contemporary rubbish in there, like plastic bottles or whatever they found. And it was so funny, but then it made me think that we are actually a layer. We are a layer that historians and archaeologists will once dig if we're lucky enough to survive the environmental crisis. So this is actually what it is about. It is giving us different perspectives. You know, it can zoom on how we look at ourselves.
Of the perception of ourselves in time.
Yes, so we can pay attention and asking ourselves where we are, like as urbanists, where we are as archaeologists, where are we as sociologists, but we also have a choice to live fast and die young, as the rockers say. but yes, I think it's the question of perspective, and what's the beauty of it. Every artist and every curator and every collector and every visitor and every viewer, just an art enthusiasm, takes his or her own decision on what to do with it. And this is how cultural identity actually forms, not as something that is given to us. This is what we decide it to be.
Okay, that's a good perspective.
And what did Russian-speaking community decide to be here? Like, let's talk about this.
Oh wow.
Well, we cannot speak for everyone, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
it's quite difficult to say.
I can explain why I'm asking, because I have a lot of friends and colleagues living abroad, and they all have this stereotype that like Russian-speaking community in Dubai is like all whatever, like dumb people, very same as Dubai, like very superficial, not interested in anything apart from being in Dubai Mall.
That's because they envy us.
Maybe they do, but now we can speak for ourselves. You can speak for ourselves.
But I think it's the same towards these people. It's the same idea that changing the impression of Dubai to people in Europe. I also, since I moved like almost 4 years ago, I have conversation with, by the way, art specialists as well, galleries, for example. And first they were very skeptic about like Art Dubai and everything that was happening here. But we witness opening of the auction houses, fairs that are moving in these directions, like with a crazy speed. So the interest is towards the region. And in 3-4 years, these people started to ask me questions about the region. So it's the same story, I think, towards like Russians here. We cannot say that the community is very monolith. So it's also so big because a lot of people moved. But we definitely see that the cultural landscape has changed due to the invasion of Russians. And I don't know, it's difficult to say. And we are here not to be Russians and to talk only about the Russian art, as we would like to present our project. No, we are very international. We want to be very international. and to use our background and expertise to be of help to the community. So I don't know, for the Russian community, what can you say?
I'm just
else?
curious, like, how do you feel
What
about
yourself do you feel about it? Not from the art
Well,
perspective, but
okay, I can share how I feel about it. First of all, I agree with you that it's not monolith, and that's what I struggle to explain to like people I talk to, that like there are very different like categories of people, but the bubble I live in is pretty much here in this room. Also, there's a people who are like sharing those values that you've mentioned, like about openness and so on and so forth, and they're like so different from what you actually see, I don't know, like on Instagram in reels, that what people are looking at, that when I try to kind of share that there are like people opening galleries, starting businesses, just like really reshaping the country, people just don't believe it. Like they just think like, okay, there are just people with money who moved and they just like sit there like on a pile of money.
we have to invite to visit. Actually, the point of view of the person I was talking about changed when he visited.
Oh, really? I had a different, success story, because I told you I was very, very afraid to make the first public project here. I was not sure that it will be perceived well. And then there was Abu Dhabi Art Fair, and there were a group of galleries and collectors from Russia who came to visit and who came to my show. And they said, well, some of them said, well, we didn't believe it was possible. Like,
That's true.
we
That's
didn't
what
do
I
that.
wanted
And
to say
do you
as
know
well.
what happened next year? There were 5 of us uniting and making like a huge
You
show,
came to visit.
like on the whole foundry. And this is when Anna and I met. So yes, it's this is what a person can do, like create a space for others to come, and or they decide not to come. It's like it's always the risk. But also Russian culture in migration, it has its story after the Great Revolution, right, of 1917, when Russian musicians and poets and writers and scientists had to go abroad. Then a second wave of revolution, and then the third wave, and then now. And actually Russian culture lives abroad very often. How many of Russian pieces of classical literature have been written abroad?
Art as
How
well.
many pieces of visual art have been created outside of Russia? How many scientific projects were made inspired by international? Like actually the big culture doesn't have nationality and doesn't have, this geographical pin, this belongs here. Actually, when it's good, it belongs to humanity. It doesn't belong to a certain flag, and it's, in a way, it's a very cosmopolitic approach. But yes, there are zones of infrastructure. If we want things to happen in the city, in the country, in the neighborhood, we need to build a space for it, right? To have a room for people to create, to bring the process here. But if we're talking about really great achievements on art and culture or whatever, they happen very often despite the borders, despite the difficulties, despite that nobody wants to see them. They just happen. And also importantly, the history of humanity is teaching us that a lot of things that we consider as achievement, as heroic, as beautiful, is happening on the go. Odyssey was traveling. Gilgamesh was traveling. Prophets were traveling. We need to go somewhere to get something, to get inspiration, to change the landscape, to bring something, to give something to others. So yes, it's like a very vast topic, which is actually very personal to everyone from whenever he or she comes from. And it's a personal decision, and maybe even the moving doesn't have to be physical. You actually need, even sitting on one spot, you need to be able to embrace the change. Change makes culture, and change can create value.
And we have a lot of change.
That's true. That's true. We have a lot of changes here, and actually, what we have, what you have said, the decision and the choice. These are the things that make the change, and then, as we said, it creates culture. Because if you don't decide to move, if you don't decide to travel, if you don't make this choice, nothing would happen.
If you're not curious enough to go through it.
But do you have to travel towards something, or you just wander around?
It's like opening of America type of discussion, you know. We wanted to open one thing, and then we reached to absolutely different place. You know, it's still an adventure, you know. And well, and the reason, the lesson is probably we just need to move, right?
We just need to. Okay, fine.
Well, I mean, nowadays maybe it's not about like moving, but being more open-minded, and you can, I mean, we go down to the content. I mean, you can watch the content created in other places, and you can somehow understand the context of what's happening there, and through this you can so-called travel if you cannot move or anything like this.
And then you learn, and then you learn about Russian-speaking community in Dubai, which is completely wrong. So now you have to travel.
I mean, and that's when the depth level comes.
Or you can watch our podcast from the other like side of the world.
Learn something.
Learn
Yeah,
something
inspired.
about like Dubai.
Do we want to ask some questions? Because I think we can also give a stage to you guys. If you have something to ask, I understand that probably the sound was not really great, especially on the back. But that's if you want to ask something, that's your moment.
Contribute.
Or contribute.
Any question about Dubai? You can share your view on like
Yeah.
how do you feel here?
You also have your stories.
How have you changed? Nastya?
Meet any prejudice about Dubai, and how do you respond when you because sometimes speaking about myself, I see a lot of prejudice about Dubai, and I feel that I have become like an advocate, you know, for a city, and explaining what's good about it. Have you experienced it, and how you deal with it?
Can I answer?
Yeah.
Because I'm originally from Siberia, and you have no idea how many stories I've heard about like Siberian and bears in the streets, even like from adults.
Well, it's still happening, right?
Still happening. That was my shock. And explaining to them that I come from Akatiem Gorodok, which was the scientific center in the period of Soviet Union. They were like, really? 2 million people living in the city in Siberia? And so, yes, I understand completely that I'm experiencing it again here. And definitely, what to say is just people, you need to explain to them, to invite them. And I think already when they meet you and you seem normal, you seem educated, you have a lot of things you can discuss, and a good level of your background. So I think it's already an impression that solves the problem. This is the best, the example is the best solution, I think.
Same thing here. I remember talking to very powerful director of a huge museum, and in person on this position, of course, has a very detailed map of the world, but the inertia is so strong. So people know about Italy, that was once blooming center for many years and centuries, blooming center of art. And there is still the inertia that for art we need to go to Italy, not to Dubai. But if we probably compare the amount of new centers of art, new centers of knowledge, the new acquisitions in a museum per human being in UAE, that we probably will see that things are happening here. And of course, you can act from prejudice, but you can also act based on information. And information is also not easy to get nowadays. We have so many, false news everywhere, like TikTok kind of news. So yes, things are changing, but it is also generational, because you can see certain people of certain age still remembering Dubai of what it was 30 years ago. But there are people in their 20s, they know that everything is going on here, and which is also depends on who you're talking to. And it will be changing rapidly for some people, but the others will still not know until they come. So we need to welcome them and force them to.
And I think it
Force
comes
them
down
to come.
to acceptance of change, actually. Because if you as a human being believe that something can actually change, then your perception of Dubai can evolve and transform. Or not only on Dubai, just about what you think about the world. Because you can stay in whatever things you were taught at school, and you can still be there. But when you travel, when you see, when you read, when you actually look at the art and everything, and consume this information, and you actually think about that, then you can change your perception of everything that's going on. And talking about prejudice, of course, I think that our podcast actually grew out of prejudice that we heard from all over the world about Dubai, and it's our small act with Anastasia, like to show that Dubai is different. And it's not only artificial, it's not only like new, but I mean, it is new. It is a new city with 53 years of history. It's nothing in comparison to maybe to the other world, but still you can see what has changed through these 53 years and what's ahead. And that's what we want to show. That's what we want to, at least to make people who want to go deeper, as we have already discussed today, to see that, I mean, there are a lot of things that you can appreciate here, apart from, I mean, the climate that cannot be changed. That's the kind of constant thing. I mean, that's it. I mean, we live in the desert. You cannot change that.
No, but it's
But I mean,
also in process, I think.
yeah, but I mean that's maybe in process, and that maybe can change. I don't really want that, but I mean that's another question. That's another podcast, I would say. But yeah, of course, there are a lot of prejudice where we face every day, and I mean, if a person on the other side is ready to listen and ready to apprehend and ready to change their perspective, that's a normal conversation. But I mean, those who don't want to believe that, it's up to them, not up to us.
Any more questions? Yeah, can you just take the mic, please?
So there is a really popular narrative online that Dubai has no soul, which I completely disagree with. And when I do, I usually get accused of being sponsored by Dubai government, which I hope was true, but it's not. So my question to you is addressed to all four of you, and I'd like all four of you to, if you had one sentence to describe what Dubai's soul is to you, what would it be?
So for me, when I think about Dubai or any other point on the world map where I would imagine myself living, I always think about opportunities that are here, that there are a lot of them here, and that some things are really kind of easier acceptable. Like this is what girls were talking about. Like you feel welcome. That's why you can try things. and it's kind of easier to open certain doors because we're all foreigners here. It's not really one sentence, but yeah, this kind of spirit of opportunities is really strong here, and this for me kind of the Dubai soul.
For me, it's more about openness, similar, but what I like felt here from the beginning is that you can make your dreams come true here. So again, the doors are open, and even with the project that you see here with the space, I even actually let myself take the decision while not everything was ready, so we were just anticipating a lot of things, and I felt that it's like it's accepted here, so that it's okay and I can go. So this openness actually created the conditions for our project to be able to be brought to life, to be realized here. So I'm very grateful for that, and this is how I see the soul of Dubai.
Alisa?
I said it, I think, earlier in the discussion. For me, it's the feeling that we're welcome, and when you enter the space and people greet you with warmth, even if such beautiful infrastructure would not exist, just the feeling that you're not some unpleasant stranger, just a feeling that you can be here and it's okay, it already gives a lot of support to continue or to start something.
I was thinking about two things. Maybe I cannot define soul, but what I think, I've got two ideas. First one, actually, for me, Dubai soul is here in the art district. I cannot explain it like in words. It's just like the feeling, because this was the first place where I arrived when I first came to Dubai, and this was the first, like Al Sirkal and the places where we are here, the places like Dome. I actually felt in an international environment where, as everybody said, you're welcome, and something is happening which you want to be a part of. So that was my first thing. And the second, I think that actually soul of Dubai is all of us, the community who lives here, who actually came here to work, to live, to entertain ourselves, to find something new, because this is my first experience of immigration where I don't feel alone, which actually is quite an amazing thing. And I think that actually the soul of Dubai is all of us, bringing something, as we've discussed, stories from all over the world, and these stories form the cultural core that we are all part of. I would say it like this, I guess.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions? Yeah. Gleb, can you give?
Okay, I have a question about your art residence. I love the idea of that. And for me, it's interesting, how do you find artists? How do you choose them? And what will be after their residence finish? Like, is it be exhibition here of every artist that you have? Actually, I love the idea of research of Alcos. I'm curious and waiting what will be in the end.
Oh, thank you for the question. Well, the residency is a big part of our project, and we have 3 ways to invite artists. First, by curatorial choice. It's when we decide that this particular project, particular research, or particular artist would be a great fit, and we just send the invitation. And the second way is the open call. When we actually publish information and people just can apply, it can be related to certain period or certain topic, or we will announce more general open call later this year. And the third opportunity of being the part of residency is being the part of the show, for example, or other future plans where the artist would come for production residency. If the residency is finished and the artist is happy with the result and he or she wants to make an exhibition, this is possible. Otherwise, we could just consider to include it in other projects, but there's no obligation to do finalized projects whatsoever. It really depends on what artists can come with, and we also welcome the research-based format when the artist or curator or different creative individual could come purely for research, because probably it's a good start before you actually involve a lot of resources into production to like spend a little bit more time on actually getting to know the place and work on the topic and on the research before you really start producing something.
And we will have the exhibition, no, of the project.
Oh, well, please follow, stay tuned. So we will announce everything very soon.
By the way, yes, we have now all the information available on the website. Instagram is working well, and we have a WhatsApp group for the all the announcements concerning events, classes, lectures. So please follow us.
But yes, what we can announce actually is that Kirill Makarov, whose paintings you have seen in one of the residency studios, will be featured by us on Art Dubai. There will be also work by Michi Katsura, who is in the main exhibition hall. And the third participating artist is Sofia Skidan, who was not featured by Dom yet, but she will create a site-specific work here in UAE, which we will present on the fair as well. So please come and check it out.
Okay, I have one last question. This is the one we ask to all our guests of Culture Mapping. Now we will need to hear the answer twice. So the question is the following. What is the certain character trait that all Russian people have that you think is so great that if all people in the world would have it, this world will be a better place?
I think loyalty. Loyalty is a great feature.
Sharing comes to my mind. I would like to share.
Okay, beautiful. And silence, loyalty, and sharing.
So you have the whole list now of all the guests.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes, we
you
do
need to
have,
publish it.
We do have the list, and well, it's in the end of each podcast. But every person from various countries, they name one character trait which is very important for them in the end of the podcast. And we really need to make a list. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you our viewers as well. As this is the video, we need to say please subscribe, give us likes, all these things, comments. Maybe also suggest in the comments any guests we should interview next time. And thank you very much. And thank you all guys for being with us.
Thank you.
Okay, we're done. Sorry for the sound. I didn't expect it.
We need to think about the sound. Yeah, 2 times microphone.